All right. I think we've got it. So welcome everyone to Briggs and Mortar Heights. Michelle Briggs with Strata, Texas. And we have a different point of view tonight. I'm just shooting from the top. And you can see my setup, but I've got to readjust so you can kind of see what's going on. So tonight we're doing the glow-in-the-dark pumpkins. And we are talking about wine. So we did glow-in-the-dark monster rocks last week. So the glow-in-the-dark monster rocks were super cute. They turned out super cute. We weren't able to get through all of them completed because I didn't have the googly eyes. You remember that? So I do have the googly eyes now. Or I did. Took a picture, uploaded it, and then I put them throughout the neighborhood. Well, there's two little girls. They're probably 8 and 6. And it was the sweetest thing. They came over. She knocked on my door and asked me if I did the rocks and why I did them. So I shared with her it was for the kiddos in our neighborhood. And they glue in the dark and, get a night light or a dark lamp or just a bright light, put it on there, and you'll see it. The reason why I'm holding this, because I thought this was the sweetest thing. Later on that day, this morning, when I was in a Zoom meeting, she knocked on my door again, and she left these 2 little notes at my doorstep. And it's from Kate, and they made me thank you cards for the monster rocks, and they copied them. So I don't know if you remember the green monster, the blue, I think it was a yellow monster with the one eye and the smiley face, and then the red monster, the blue monster. So Kate did that one, and then her younger sister did this one. So Anna, which again, they copied the rocks. It's so cute. Thanks for the rocks. That's obviously her mom. But I thought it was the cutest thing for them to do that. So what I've decided to do, I said I was going to do the glow-in-the-dark pumpkins. We've got the tulip paint. And I picked up 2 pumpkins because I thought that was plenty for us to create. And I kind of started on what you can tell. However, I'm going to deliver these to their doorstep when I get done. Now, the glow-in-the-dark pumpkins, there's several different designs that you can do. I found this idea through Pinterest, and the website is www.tulipcolor.com/10 glow-in-the-dark pumpkin DIYs. So anyway, again, I was doing trick or treat Thursdays for the month of October, and I think we were all missing the wine. So tonight I'm going to talk about Brennan Vineyards. So Brennan Vineyards is out of Comanche County here in Texas. It is a Texas wine, and it's distributed outside of 4.0 Cellars. And I'll tell you a little bit about 4.0 Cellars. So this is a red blend, and it's a really great wine. So my husband Bill, this is our go-to. So you can go to Total Wine, pick this up for $13. It's not complex, easy drinking, and so I'll share about that. So getting back to the glow-in-the-dark pumpkins. To start it off, I did go ahead and paint the pumpkins white. I did use a base to help the glow-in-the-dark paint really stand out and really glow. So again, we learned that from the rocks last week, is that we want to paint them white so that way the paint really stands out, the glow in the dark. So I started this one, and here's something I learned. Don't paint the stem until you're done, right? So I started just doing lines on this one, and we're going to continue them all the way around. And yeah, Toya, you saw the finished product. Yes, the googly eyes, they were really great. So Beverly, I'll name one after you. So I just started this one, and there's so many different designs that you do. All you need is the tulip glow in the dark paint. This is the fabric paint. It makes it dimensional, so it kind of makes it stand out from the pumpkin. And I did grab the colors from last week just in case if we wanted to add to it. But there's so many different ways that you can create your pumpkins and different designs. So you can do, you can do a spider web. You can just do dots. Now this one, I did dots, and I don't know if you can see that. It says boo across it with dots. So we'll finish that one up with nothing but just dots everywhere, different color dots. So you can just create all kinds of different things with it. And I thought with this being such an easy project, paint the pumpkins for your little ones, and then let them just have fun with the glow in the dark. And while they're doing that, you can pour yourself a glass of wine. You're at home. No one's going anywhere. All right, so the Brennan Vineyards Buffalo Rome, this is 2017. You can tell that this is not a really super young wine because it's not that purple. It's not really super purple. We're seeing it from a different angle than what you normally see when we're doing our wine tastings. But you can kind of see the hint of brown. So we'll talk a little bit about the tasting notes on this. So it is a dry, medium-bodied red wine. And Toya, I know that you had talked about learning a little bit more about dry wines, or you like dry wines better. So it's a dry medium-bodied red wine with fruit flavors of black plum skins and blackberries. It's non-fruit flavors of leather, cigar box, and pipe tobacco gives a nod to significant oak aging. So this is aged in oak. And it has bright tannins that will complement, they say, will complement any southern fare. So this is part of Brennan Wine's Sophisticated Wines, and they call it the Sophisticated Wines with Texas Roots. So Brennan Vineyards, they are committed to the authenticity from ground to glass. And I think that's really nice. It kind of speaks to, Tatiana with Scout and Cellars. They're really about all natural wines. So this kind of speaks to that as well. So ground to glass. So they're transparent. They have transparency with all of their products. So it's not only do we get our hands dirty in the Indian Creek terroir, right? The sandy soils of the Comanche Vineyard and the sandy soils over rock in Newburgh. So Comanche is outside of Waco. So I acknowledge I'm not good with north, south, east, west, whatever. When you're going down the road, tell me to take a right at whatever street sign. Anyway, so I think it's northwest of Waco. However, Brennan Vineyards and two other vineyards got together and they created 4.0 cellars inside of Fredericksburg, Texas. So I had to take a sip. Oh, that's good. So good. So at Fredericksburg, as you guys know, we got married out in Fredericksburg, so we're really familiar with the wineries that are out there. We were at one point a part of the wine club, and we have now moved on to another wine club. That's the great thing about wine. You find wine that you love, and you want to continue tasting and trying things differently because wine is just, there's so many different types that are out there that you can really enjoy. So I'm not fancy, but it's just these little stripes. That's all it is. You start with one color and just follow the ridge of the pumpkin. There's so many different ways that you can really create a pumpkin because this is just an empty canvas. And Beverly can speak to that, our fabulous artist. And so Toy's asking, what do you mean by young wine? So when we talk about young wine, it's basically the year that it was harvested and bottled. So most of the wines that you get at the grocery store are young wines. They're not meant to age because they're meant to drink right away. Kendall Jackson. I bring up Kendall Jackson a lot. Turning Leaf does that as well. There's so many different varietals that are out there that are truly for you to pick up and drink that night or that weekend. They want you to drink it now, so it's young. And 2017 Vineyard, and now it's 2020. It's a young wine. So you just choose another color and you just go with it. I think the true artist way is to stick to the same colors as you did in the other pattern. However, I'm just doing it a little differently because it's my pumpkin. I can do it any way I want to. Whoops. So you just choose a section and put it out there. So as far as using an orange pumpkin, you can. However, I just don't think that the colors are going to show up as bright as if you had a white canvas as this one. Yep, so I painted it all white in the beginning before we started because I wanted to make sure that we had a canvas to kind of play with the colors. So you got to balance it. But it's okay. You can make all the mistakes that you want. Again, it's your pumpkin. You can do as you choose. The one side, you know, you guys, I have my light here, my ring light. So these pumpkins have been sitting under this ring light for a couple of hours now. Look, I am just totally doing it. So we're going to do a few more little stripes there. So you get the idea of what, you know, what we're creating around it. So we'll cover, I mean, we'll really cover this whole pumpkin. We'll add, oops, sorry, did pink. Don't want pink. What color did we not do? Yellow. This color really stands out. The green really stands out. So we're just going to add extra little stripe in this little space here. You don't have to go all the way to the bottom because the pumpkin's going to sit on your front porch or wherever you choose to place it. We have a blue, so I want to make sure that I save some room for the blue to make that pop. So again, it's that fabric paint. It's dimensional, so it's going to stand out on its own, which is really nice. I think the girls will like it. I think they're going to really like it. Yeah, you know what? You are right, Mom. This is a great thing to keep kids occupied. Now you can go to Walmart. I'm sure they have it. Geez, Walmart, get the plastic pumpkins. Dollar store. I went to the dollar store, and I think just because where we are now with COVID, that we're not seeing a huge selection of Halloween. So I literally went to HEB and I bought 2 small, they were already white pumpkins. They were already white. And then I painted them again. So I really wanted to stand out because I just didn't think that we really got the full effect of the pumpkins, the glow in the dark, the last time we did it. You know, we did the live. So I just want to try something different. All right, the wine. Really good. Again, tasting notes, dry, medium, full body. Red wine, fruit flavors, the black plums, the currants, the blueberries. It's 14.9% alcohol. It doesn't say that there's any residual sugar. There's 878 cases of production in this wine. So obviously in case there's 12 bottles. So that's it. That's all they have for this 2017 is 878 cases. You can pick it up at Total Wine, $13. You guys, I've talked about my Joel Gott and sharing the go-to white that I drink, and that's, you know, $10 at HEB. This is $13 at Total Wine. It's nicely priced if you want to have a glass of wine each night. So the story behind the wine, the Buffalo Rome, is one of our fan favorite wines. It is one of our fan favorites. We are fan favorite. If I get that right. Our customers even our customers even competed in a challenge to name this delicious red blend wine. The only information about the wine that was given in the naming competition was that it was a Rhone-style blend of Syrah and Mourvedre. The winning name was Buffalo Rome, which later was morphed into Buffalo Rome. So Roam. Original name was Rhome, like a play on Rhone wine, Rhone. So that's really sweet. So harvest period 2017, Newburgh Vineyard, Comanche Vineyard, the Syrah vinification. It's aged 12 to 24 months in oak barrels. So we talked about the oak barrels as well. So why is red wine aged but white wine isn't? There are white wines out there that you can age. Red wines, because the tannins, the skin that creates the tannins within the red wine, it allows it an opportunity to continue aging, continue fermenting. I mean, fermenting is really a strong word when you're talking about putting a wine in a bottle and putting it on the shelf and leaving it there for a few years. But it's still fermenting. It's still processing. It's still growing. You know, wine lives and breathes in my world because there's so many different red wines that are complex, and that's the beauty of it. You have to try different wines. If you don't like a specific varietal, that's fine. Try it from a different region. You know, try a French red instead of a California red. You know, try an Argentinian wine. Look at different regions because their terroir is different. The dirt, if you will, right, is different. So 4.0 cellars, you can go to Fredericksburg and pick up there's 3 different ones: the McPhersons, Brennans, and Gene Estes of Lost Oak Winery. They came together and created 4.0 cellars out of Fredericksburg. So they do have a winery that's out there, and the wine tasting is amazing. The winery, the vineyard that you go in and you do the tasting is beautiful. There's so much going on. They have so many people that are there to give you a taste of wine. There's a cost, of course, for the flight, depending on how many you want to drink, and you just have fun just tasting. Most people, when they're out in Fredericksburg running around, they're not spitting. So most wine tasters, sommeliers, when they're tasting a flight of wine, they're tasting different wines. They're just putting it in their mouth, swirling, and spitting it right back out. Another question, Toya, is sugar naturally sweetened? Is sugar naturally sweetened? I don't know what that means if you're talking about wine, there are wines that do put a residual sugar in there to smooth out the wine, to not make it so, I always bring this up, in the back of the throat, the tannins that are there. So, there is a natural sugar in a wine. It's called Brix, Brix. And the Brix is a level that a winemaker is in constant watch of, right? And what creates Brix inside of a grape is the weather. So hot, foggy, rainy, sunny. The Brix, they do a Brix count constantly on the wines because of that sugar level. And that's truly, there is a natural sugar behind it. I don't know what I was thinking when you first brought it up. This is the natural glow in the dark. So you can see the white toy you had mentioned about, is there a white glow in the dark paint? There is. And so this one, I haven't used it yet. I thought about painting all of it with the white, and I just chose not to do it. However, we can add some white stripes after this is dried to really make it pop, or maybe we can do some white stripes on the little handles, the stems of it. So we can definitely give that a shot. I don't mind at all. So do you taste all red or whites at a wine tasting? Yes, you do. And if you're tasting it correctly, you're starting with the lightest white wine and you're going up to the boldest red. So you can start with the Chenin Blanc to a Sauvignon Blanc, or Chenin Blanc to a Pinot Grigio to a Sauvignon Blanc. onto a Pinot Noir, a Merlot, a Cabernet, a Zinfandel. So a flight of wine, when you're doing the wine tastings, you are going to taste some whites and some reds. Again, hence the spitting. So you can, if you have enough wine tastings, you can get really a little buzzed on it. So you want to be careful when you're out and about in the wine region. Napa, I know Napa. You can, I mean, Fredericksburg, you can rent a limo or a town car that takes you around to see more. Now, when you're talking about mixing the white and the red, it may upset your stomach, and that's just because of the tannins that are in each wine. I haven't had that issue. And if you do start having an upset stomach, definitely stop. You want to enjoy the wine, have fun with it. That's the main purpose of the tasting. They want you to taste all the bottles that they have because they want you to fall in love with it and take it home with you. So this pumpkin is just going to be covered in nothing but dots. All dots. And what I'll do is I'm going to keep the light on this pumpkin. So that way, when I go take it over to the girls and put it on their front porch, I'll take a picture of it. So that way we can see, like, again, the end result. But this is just choose your colors, put dots everywhere. You want them kind of puffy. Like I said, this is the dimensional paint, so it doesn't have to be perfect, and it's great for the kids. So I don't know who's going to be trick or treating this year. I don't know if it's going to be in our community. However, so Beverly, is it easier painted dots than stripes when you drink? Well, I just started drinking when I turned the camera on, so I'm good right now. And I totally believe that you are accurate. If you're having, it's kind of a good idea. We should do it. Beverly, you should head up a art night for our group, and let's drink some wine and then do some painting, some artsy stuff. That's a really good idea. But I do have different paint brushes, and I just got, from last week, I've got a bunch of different brushes. I was thinking about painting, and I just chose to go ahead and do the dots and the stripes. Another really a great little trick for these, or a different type of dimension, is when you put your stripes on this guy, you can get a heat gun, your blow dryer on the hottest temperature, the hottest setting, and blow dry this, and it just comes all together and looks raw. I don't know how to describe it. You can help me out on that one. Yeah, so it's just something a little different. All right, so talking about 4.0 cellars, we're just kind of going back and forth a little bit. They do have cheese now. So Brennan Vineyards, Lost Oak Winery, McPherson Cellars, and Texas Cheeses. So that just makes me want to go back and get some of the Texas cheeses. What else we got? Toya. From the different taste of wine. So your stomach gets upset from tasting different wines. Is that what I'm understanding? I got it. So if that's the case, when you're going out to Fredericksburg or you're going out to Napa, it's just that's the nature of the beast. You're tasting all different ones. They're going to want you to taste all different ones. So if you do decide that your stomach is not feeling well, then just stick to a white. So whites, like I said, you're not going to have that same level of tannins that you do in a red. But you want to, while you're out there with friends, and especially if you're going to Napa, you want to try them all. Just try them all. You know what I realized? We don't have any orange on this. I'm lacking the orange. What else? So you guys, we're talking about Brennan wines. It's a Texas wine. I used to, for a long time, would not touch a Texas wine. I just wouldn't do it, and it's because they're not fruity. And not that I'm a huge fruity person. However, There was nothing that was, to me, balancing out the wine to make it softer on the palate. And I just didn't feel like Texas wine was at the level where I felt it should be for me to drink it. I mean, that's the way it is for me. And now they have become so advanced. There's so many different vineyards and there's so many different opportunities and varietals that are out there. I talked about Nice Wine in the past. They are here in Houston and they have some amazing wine. Troy, have you ever stopped on grapes and made your own wine? I have not. It's one of my personal goals is to get out there and harvest and stomp the grapes. So I definitely do want to do that one time. I'm not going to make wine because it's way too complex. I don't have time. I just rather, pour. So in this one, you see this is a screw cap. There's a ton of wines that are screw caps. There's nothing wrong with that. It is sealing the wine just like a cork would. So when you open it, you put a stopper in it and don't let it sit in the fridge for over 5 days. So I saw something come across. Why is wine paired with cheese? It's because of the black cherries. When you talk about the tasting notes, it just enhances, it enhances the wine. So port and blue cheese is amazing. So that you can literally, anything that you're eating, they always say that, white wine with fish, red wine with meat. That's not the case. You can get a really full body Chardonnay and have a piece of steak. You can get a really light red and eat it with fish. You can drink it with fish, excuse me. So, I know. My hubby's in the back laughing at me. All right, you guys, we are pretty much at the top of the hour. Next week, I'm Tatiana Alonso with Scout and Cellar. She kind of started these with me and having a ton of fun, drinking wine, tasting different wines. I don't know that I'm going to do a craft next week. I'm just not that crafty. Maybe Beverly can join me. Zoom. You won't have to come to my house, Beverly. Just Zoom. And you can lead me through an artsy thing, and you guys can watch, and we'll drink wine and have some fun with it. At Brennan Vineyards, Total Wine, $13, Buffalo Rome. It is a blend, a Syrah blend. It's really good. It's easy drinking. And you guys, Beverly, I'm camera shy. Girl, you're beautiful and you're talented. What is this? It's time for, I'm reading my comments as I'm going over this. Okay, so it's time for Tampa Bay / Tom Brady and the Bear. Oh, that means she's got to go. All right, it's time for football at 6:58. My name is Michelle Briggs with Strata, Texas. I always say, follow me on Instagram, like my Facebook page. All you have to do is search RELTR, the number 4 and the letter U, because I am the realtor for you. And I tell you about wine and we do crafts. You guys have a great evening. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next week. Ugh. Mom, go Astros. I didn't see that. Boop, boop. I think it's off. We'll find out.